Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Blahber podcast. I'm Roshni, your host, and today's topic of discussion is going to be all about dating. In the last episode, we spoke about breakups and how to move on from them. Breakups are a very sad topic to talk about, and even though I might have tried to make it as fun as possible, it is a heavy topic. So, for this episode, I decided to move on from all the sadness and talk about something a lot more lightweight and fun. And that's why I took dating as my topic. And it also makes sense for me to talk about this because I find myself in this situation. Right now, I am in the realm of dating. I am doing it as we speak. So, um, I think I've learned a few things and I can share my tips with you. Not just that, I would also like to discuss how new age dating works because 10 years ago, when I was like, what, 17, it was completely different. You met people organically in your college or your university or whatever. But now you can meet people just through your phone. You can talk to them, you can start conversations with literally anybody in the world, not just in your vicinity, but like literally anywhere in the world. So um, it's gotten so easy. Also, dating has gotten tough in a different way. People don't show that much interest, I feel like, because it's so accessible. Now, dating has become very shallow and surface level, and the love and the passion that used to come with the whole concept of dating has gone away. But you know what? It's still really fun. And if you meet the right people, you can have a lot of fun. So we'll talk about that. But before that, I would like to give you some life updates so you can catch up with me, right? This past week has been very blah for me. I've found myself in a situation where I don't feel like doing anything. My body just doesn't have the energy or the push or the want to pursue something. And that's very unusual for me because I'm a person who would definitely want something in her hand, like some kind of project to keep her busy. Um, and all my life, I've done that. I've not let myself take an off day. If I take an off day, I would definitely guilt myself to feel like I am wasting my time and find something or anything to do. Even like taking an afternoon nap for me is very difficult because I will guilt trip myself for taking that 20-minute nap, even. So I feel like I have grown a lot and I have learned to accept my emotions, the way my body talks to me. And this is the way my body chose to talk to me by being exhausted mentally and physically, not wanting to do anything. And I'm just listening to my body and letting myself rest. I don't feel like I have that push to work right now, even though there's so much work in my hands. I am doing these things, I am working, but uh, my heart's not in it. My mind's not in it. I am not in it. It's happening because it needs to, because, the girl's got to earn. So, uh, yeah, but I have just spent most of the week just staying at home and working from home and relaxing, having a glass of wine every now and then. And these glasses have been getting bigger for some reason, but yeah, watching movies, oh my God, watching Bridgerton. Oh my God, this show has a hold on my life. And I would say that for a lot of things right now, but this show does have a hold on my life. It's not Bridgerton, it's a Bridgerton story. It's Queen Charlotte. And I don't know if you guys have watched it, but oh my God, this show is just, I don't know how Shonda Rhimes does this. How does she like, make these perfect men and gentlemen? Like, just, there is, uh, there are these flaws in them. Of course, there is. They're humans. So if they didn't have flaws, it would feel very unnatural. So they are flawed men, but they are flawed men who know they are flawed. They are flawed men who own up to their shortcomings and their insecurities, and they allow the women in their life to help them eventually, but they allow the women in their life to be with them and guide them and go through the whole journey with them, which is very difficult with the men I know, like most men that I have been with. It's very difficult for you to find a man who can just be very transparent with you and be vulnerable in front of you and just go through a journey, probably a painful journey, holding your hand. Um, I don't know. I don't know why I went so deep into it, but this show just told me that it's okay to be a flawed person. It's okay to show your wounds and allow someone to love you and be with you, go through that painful path with you. So it can be a path of thorns, but it does not need to be walked all alone. Ooh, ooh. Like, I just heebie-jeebies. But anyway, that took most of my week, honestly. I've been traveling a lot for work lately, so this week of just being was needed. This week of just existing was needed. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, watching romantic TV shows and movies and just making myself feel good. One more movie I just watched right now was Mamma Mia, and I love that movie. I watched it after a very long time. The last time I must have watched it uh, would be like I don't know, like 6 years ago. And I was just having lunch the other day and decided to watch Mamma Mia. Such a cute movie. There are some movies that will just make your heart smile. That's that. That is the movie for me. That Devil Wears Prada, and like any kind of old rom com movie would also do for me. So like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or literally any old rom com, early 2000s rom com just does it for me. And uh, lately, I've been finding these beautiful Spanish movies on Netflix. I don't know how. I maybe must have watched one movie and that just started, um, like it kept giving me recommendations. So now I have these really fun Spanish movies coming on my what do you call it? My list, and it's really nice. Rom-coms are my happy place. Rom-coms make me feel like there is some hope left in the world for love. So it's been a very slow week for me. And for the most part of it, I've been okay with allowing it to be the way it is and not trying to be more productive or push myself, because I realize that my mind does need a break. My I'm just kind of lost in here, so I need to allow my brain to reboot. And this week would be a week to reboot, so I can be the same old Roshni after this week ends. But there have been a few days where I did try to guilt trip myself into being a little productive. And my friends are just a godsend. They would tell me that it's okay to be where you are right now in life. It's okay to not feel driven. It's okay to not feel like you have to constantly do something. And that is what I need. You need supportive friends in your life, friends or family or somebody to tell you uh, if you're being mean to yourself, if you're being bad to yourself, because sometimes we don't see it ourselves, right? We don't see it. So you need someone to stop you and tell you that, listen, it's okay to feel the way you feel. It's a natural feeling. And if you feel unproductive, stay at home, watch a movie, have pasta, and relax. And that is what I needed. I just needed someone to tell me those things, tell me that I'm okay the way I am. It's to kind of reassure me that I'm not doing anything wrong and I am a person who needs constant reassurance. uh, yeah. Anyway, let's start talking about my dating life because that's the only reason you're here, right? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know that you're here because you want to know more about the whole dating world and like where you stand in it. And if I can probably give you some tips to make your dating game a little stronger. But I don't think I am the best person because I am very, very new to it. I'm just starting out. So I want to talk about my experience first, and maybe then we can see if I can give you some ideas, some tips, if I have any, but I don't know. All right. I'm just prefacing this whole episode with this one statement that I am not a professional because I don't want you to try something I told you and it doesn't work out. And then you come to me and be like, Roshni, what did you tell me? It just messed up my whole chance of being with this person or something. I don't want to be in it. I'm just going to talk to you as a friend. So if you want to shout back at me, you can, but as a friend, all right? Anyway, let's start talking about my current dating experience because, oh my God, it's such a roller coaster and it's been fun. It's really been fun for me. I have picked out a few skills that I never thought that I could from this experience. And like, let me tell you that I have mastered this one skill that just transformed my life completely. Dating is all about meeting strangers, right? And getting to know new people. So, small talk is essential, and I have mastered it. I can have small talk with absolutely anyone. Put anybody in front of me from any walk of life, I can talk to them. That's my skill right now. It makes me so happy that I got this skill from this experience. So, yeah, I mean, you never know. You can learn so many things. And I have never felt so comfortable meeting strangers in my life. Now I can meet anybody and talk to them without feeling uh, my social anxiety because I have issues with social anxiety. I have issues with walking into a room full of strangers. But now that fear has kind of gone away a little bit. It's not completely gone away. I mean, there are situations where I would feel intimidated, but for the most part of it, I think I'm good. I'm getting better at this whole social thing, at meeting strangers and making small talk with strangers. So I have never been single before for a very long time. So dating apps have never been a part of my life, and I was completely new to it. I decided to download uh, all the dating apps, like all the top dating apps that there are out there. And I asked a few friends about which app is good, which app should I go on. And I asked my brother because my brother knows more than I do. So my friends, my brother, they told me that there are three apps that you should be on right now, and the others are just noise. So three apps that you should be on right now are Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge. Tinder is a place for hookups and being casual. So, if you want something extremely casual or if you want to find somebody to just have fun with, Tinder is your place. If you want to find boring people, Bumble is your place. And if you want to find good people, fun people, young people, you go on Hinge. This is so funny how these dating apps are already typecasted, but I put myself on all of them because for me, it's more like case study. For me, it's more like experiment. So I tried everything. I will give you my opinion on it. Okay. Tinder, yes, they are right. It is for loose relationships, but you can find good people out there. It's not that bad. Bumble is not for boring people, all right? Bumble is not boring people. I did find some good normal people out there. In fact, there are like nice men out there on Bumble. Like really sweet guys, very like normal people. Hinge is where you might find all the adventurous type people, or you would find mostly a younger crowd. I saw that the crowd is a lot younger, sometimes a little too young for me. So, yeah, I don't know, but uh, yeah, the crowd on Hinge is quite young. But since Hinge is one of the newest and the most hottest apps that have come out right now, people are moving on to Hinge. So you will see a lot of people on Hinge at the moment. But I think Bumble is the most stable app. Bumble also allows the girl to start a conversation, so it puts the matter in my hands. I can choose who I want to talk to. It gives me a lot more control compared to the other apps. But if you are the kind of a person who, who would like to be spoken to first, then I think you should try out Hinge. But all in all, my suggestion would be just try all these three apps and put yourself out there. You never know, you can find someone anywhere. So just put yourself out there. Yeah. There is another dating app that is new to the scene called Raya, but you need like a referral to actually get accepted into the app. So I don't know about the scene. I have never been on that app, and I don't know how to help you out with that if you want to go there. But yeah, it has a lot of celebrities, I've heard. So if that's your thing, you can go on Raya, find a person who can get you in. It's like a very exclusive club, and only people on the guest list are allowed inside. And I find that pretty cool. It makes the whole dating pool a lot more filtered and a lot more classier, I think. So, since I've been on these apps for a while now, I think there are a few things that you can do to optimize your dating experience. So, since I've been on these apps for a while now, I think I can give you a little advice on how to optimize your profile in order to get the best matches. These are the things that are essential for me to swipe right on the person. Number one for me would be photos. You need to put crisp, clear photos of yourself. By that I mean no hats, no side face, no group photos, nothing like that. A face that is just a face in front of the camera, a face you can clearly see. Probably like 5 or 6 photos would be ideal for the person to actually know if they like what they see. But if you can put even just 3 to 4 photos, that would be good enough. But make sure that these photos do give the person a proper view of what they are getting into. See, eventually you're going to meet the person and they are going to see your face. I understand you can be a little insecure about the way you look, but it will be out there at some point. So, might as well give them a chance to see it properly and take a call on if they would want to talk to you or not. If your face is covered or hidden in some way, or if you are hiding in a group of people, or if you have only like 2 photos on your profile, it might come off as suspicious or fake, and the chances for the person to swipe left on you might be much higher than showing your full face and then being rejected. So just show your face, guys. It's fine. And one more thing I would like to add on this, because a lot of my guy friends have experienced this, is if you're a girl or even a guy, I mean, do not put photos of you a couple of years back. Put the latest updated photos of you. So if you've, put on some weight, or something happened to you, or you've cut your hair or anything, let them see the most updated version of you and not something from 5, 6 years ago. Because when they will meet you, eventually they will be disappointed or surprised to see what they see. Just give them the whole you, the real you, and let them choose you or not choose you. You would never find out if they're not choosing you, right? So give them a chance to take that call. Don't take the call for yourself. is what I'm saying. Second one for me would be a well done profile. And by that I mean use the features that these apps give you, the prompts that they give you. So if you are, for example, a very funny person, why don't you just crack a joke maybe? You can use a prompt where you crack a joke and maybe allow that person to reply in a way that would suggest that even they are funny, and that would be a nice match. Or if you're a person who likes food, who likes traveling, maybe talk about that. Just make sure that your hobbies and your interests are put out there. So when a person comes onto your profile, they have something to relate to. And when you relate to someone, even if nothing else works out for them, if they can relate to you on one or two topics, they will swipe right on you. I do that because I love hiking and I love traveling. So when I see somebody who shares the same interest as me, it really, really ups the chances for me to swipe right on the person. So that would be a great thing to do. Also, if you have, say, a great voice and you are very confident about the way you sound, but maybe not confident about the way you look, you have put your pictures out there, but just to up your chances to get better matches, why don't you put a voice prompt and let people hear you, let people hear your voice? And if you have any better skills or any stronger points that you would want to highlight, I would suggest definitely go ahead and highlight them. So, in comparison, your insecurities or your shortcomings can take a backseat, and the things you're actually confident about are put out there, increasing your chances to find a better match. The third one is something that will happen after you match with the person. And I am telling this to boys and girls both out there. Do not, under any circumstances, start a conversation with "what's up," "sup," "what you doing," or you know what I mean, right? Using loose language or slang to talk to a person. It would put me off immediately, like immediately, straight to jail. Okay. You cannot you cannot start a conversation with half-assed sentences, because that shows that you are not respecting the person enough to even type a decent sentence for them. You need to show them that you actually do care. And it's okay to be rejected, but it's not okay to start a conversation with such less effort. It makes it so sad. Or even starting a conversation with just hi and not like giving them something to continue the conversation with. Do not start a conversation with just hi unless you want to sound mysterious or something. Do not start a conversation with just hi. Say hi, how are you doing, or what are you up to? Or you can also say what's up. What's up is not bad, but like WASSUP, what's up, is bad. The way you start your conversation will set the first impression on this person. So make sure that you give them something to hold on to, give them something to want to talk to you, because most of the times these people are talking to uh, maybe like four, five people, men, women at the same time. So, what makes you stand out, right? Even if you don't have anything witty or romantic or flirty to say at the get go, you can start a conversation with a very respectful "Hello, how are you doing?" or "What are you up to?" These things will allow them to take the conversation further. And if they do not intend to take the conversation further, they will respond in a cold way, and you'll get your sign you can get out of it. But if you start a conversation cold and they respond cold, you won't understand that this person is not interested, and you might just waste a lot more time on this conversation than you would need to. So just save yourself some time and make sure that you give the person in front of you respect and talk to them like a human being, and not with these slang half assed conversation starters. So these three are my must when it comes to finding a good match on the dating apps. Before shooting this episode, I did do my research and spoke to a lot of my friends who have been on the dating scene for a while now. I have not been doing this for a long time, so I know that I am not the best source of information. And I had to understand from other people what's going on and what are they going through currently, and like what am I getting myself into. Most of these people talked about how dating has just gotten so shallow and so tiring. It's always the same conversations repeating again and again, because you need to have the same starter conversations, right? The small talk, ask the same questions to people. And it does get a bit tiring after a point, talking about the same thing with different people. And most of the times, people don't even respect you enough to um, respond to your messages or talk to you properly, or be clear about their intentions. Some people would love just leading you on, or some people would not talk to you for days and then suddenly send you a message and suddenly start talking to you just to pull back and again ghost you for the next couple of days. So there is just so much going on in today's day and age when it comes to dating that it was like an excess of information for me, and I had to somehow uh, put it in like a systematic format. So one of my friends told me about this term called breadcrumbing the other day, and I was like, what the hell is breadcrumbing? Because I have never heard this word before. He told me that breadcrumbing is a brand new dating term that's been used very widely in our pop culture. And I need to educate myself on it. Not just that, she told me that there are a lot of new terms that have come up in the market. And I need to familiarize myself with that because it does explain our current dating environment very, very nicely. So, you know what? Let's go through all these terms one by one and discuss it. All right. So, let's start with breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is when someone you would like to have a relationship with leads you on just enough to keep you in their life without a solid commitment. If a romantic interest gives you just enough time, attention, affection, or the words of affirmation to keep you interested, but you still feel like you're at an arm's length from them, you could be a victim of breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing sounds bad. Oh my God. But it does make sense to give terms to these things because it's always been there, it's always been happening. But when you give this a word, it makes it easier for you to identify um, this feeling or identify the situation and addressing it better. So good that it's called breadcrumbing because they leave you with only breadcrumbs. You might find yourself in the situation if you feel like there is someone who, when you're with them, you get all the love and attention that you need only when you're with them. When you're not with them, they don't give you the same kind of attention on or energy that you require. They would not call you or not message you or not ask about you or even plan to meet you again. That would be the situation, right? It would be just so vague with them. But every time you're with that person, you would feel like, okay, this is amazing. This feels great. So that contrast, that drastic contrast, if that is something that you feel, then maybe you're being breadcrumbed. The next term that a lot of us might know about already is called situationship. A situationship happens when both partners remain vague about their relationship status and trajectory. While a friends with benefits dynamic would require both people to agree to that label, a situationship happens when both people avoid discussing labels or their significance in each other's lives. We all have been here at one point in our life for sure. Because I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago for me, it used to be called DTR, defining the relationship. And when you don't define the relationship, you will find yourself in a place where you don't know if it's a serious relationship or are you supposed to be seeing other people or are you all exclusive? What is this? Where are we going? Um, And how long are we going to be here? There's a lot of questions, and it's toxic for both parties. It's not just for one person. Maybe one person is benefiting more out of it because the vagueness allows them to be with maybe multiple people, or the vagueness allows them the time to think about where they want to be with you. The easiest way to find out where you stand is by asking the person. You can be in a vague realm 1 month into the relation. If it goes beyond 1 month, you need to address this. You need to talk about where your relationship is going. And I am not saying to actually turn it into a relationship. If you both are not ready to be in an exclusive relationship and would like to see other people, it needs to be that way. You cannot force somebody to be with you. If the person in front of you wants to, enjoy being with other people, I think it's best to let them go because they will never be able to commit to you 100%. But you might just realize that they were waiting for you to approach them with this question all along, and they wanted to be with you all along, and even they were pretty confused about it. Then you're just opening up a conversation to take this ahead and making it exclusive. So, in any way, it is best to talk about it, but I wouldn't suggest talking about it very early or prematurely. Because if you know the person for 2 weeks and then you go ahead and be like, what are we? It wouldn't make sense. It needs to be enough interactions, enough time spent with each other where you might think that this has potential to turn into a relationship. Okay, so the next one we'll talk about is roaching. Roaching is when someone you've been seeing exclusively says they've been seeing other people, saying they thought that you were in a casual relationship. The person who commits roaching uses this as an excuse after getting caught because the victim didn't consent to it. I think this would be probably an extension of a situationship where in your head you think that you both are gold, you both are exclusive and together, and then this person will be like, I have been seeing other people, especially when they get caught with other people, they might say that. And you might feel that it was your fault for not addressing it. It was your fault for not having that conversation. And maybe it was casual all along and you just overthought about all of this in your head. That person has very successfully gaslit you into thinking that you're wrong, but you're not. So just save yourself the time, the effort, and the pain by talking about it. That's it. These terms are so much fun. I honestly wonder who thinks about them. But the next one is called orbiting. Orbiting happens when someone ends your relationship or stops texting you, but continues to interact with your social media posts. This includes viewing your Instagram story or commenting or liking your posts. Orbiting can also happen when a dating app match or other love interests interact with you online but never make a move to meet you in person. I really like this term because it explains fizzled out conversations really well. When you switch your conversation from a dating app to, say, Instagram, and then this person just doesn't interest you enough or you don't interest them enough, so you both stop talking to each other. But this person is very much looking at your posts, your stories, literally interacting with them and just being around in your life, but not in your life. It's really cool how the term matches the whole situation so well, right? The next one is pretty deep because it's called submarining. Okay. Submarining is when a match suddenly stops communication and then reappears months later. Similar to ghosting, submarining involves a sudden stop in communication, whether calls, texts, or FaceTime. Unlike a ghost who ends all contact for good, a submariner will pop back in suddenly, usually with a text. Has this ever happened to you? Because I don't think it's happened to me ever. Because I started the whole dating thing so recently, I don't think I've given people a chance to submarine yet. But what a cool term, right? What a cool term, dude. I love it. So, these were all the popular dating terms that have been used on social media lately. And if you have fallen prey to any of these, then please let me know. I would love to hear your story. Moving along, I think the whole dating app experience is more like a rite of passage for everyone, and everyone should definitely try it. Try going out on these random dates. Try meeting new people. Try starting conversations that you've never started before. This is a trial and error ground. You're meeting strangers out there, people you might never meet again, hopefully, possibly. So if you make mistakes or say something wrong, you know that nothing's going to happen about it unless things work out, you like the person likes you, and you might have to see them again. It's all right to make mistakes. It's all right to put yourself out there. It's all right to have a little fun. I don't know how I survived in this whole dating climate because every date I've been on, I just trauma dump. I will talk about all my problems and just throw it out there like it's a free therapy session. And these sweet, poor guys, they have listened to me. And in fact, I feel like it turns into a whole therapy session where they also start talking about their problems. And we just bond a lot more emotionally than in any other way. And I think that I could be good friends with a lot of guys. I've realized that people just want to talk. Everybody's so lonely nowadays, including me. And they're just finding someone to talk to, boys and girls both. You might think that guys don't want to talk about their problems, but I have met such wonderful guys who have been going through something in their life. Like everybody's going through something different for sure, but they all are going through something in their life, and they feel comfortable talking to a stranger about it because they know that there is no judgment coming from that side. Or even if there's any judgment coming from that side, they wouldn't care because they might not need to meet this person again, right? We usually don't open out 100% to our friends and family because we risk bearing it all out and risk being judged by them. And because we have to be around them for forever, um, we don't want to we don't want that risk to take place. So we just tell them enough for them to know that maybe you're feeling sad or maybe you're in a bad place, but you wouldn't talk about it all. And that comfort I have found in strangers, in talking to people that I have never met before, or talking to people that I would never meet again for sure. It feels amazing. And I feel like the same energy is reciprocated with me because they talk to me in the same exact way. So the dating experience for me has been very eye opening and fun. I wouldn't say that it's easy because it's not. I had to go through so many men to just find two or three guys that I eventually end up meeting. I do not talk to everyone. I do not swipe right on everyone. I am very picky. I really, really thoroughly vet my guys before I meet them, just to make sure that I am meeting someone that I'm going to be safe around, and I am meeting them in a place where there are a lot of people. So if I do fear being catfished or meeting somebody bad, I am not alone. Dating can be scary for a lot of people because it involves meeting strangers and putting yourself in a situation where you're a little helpless. So, my only advice, especially for the girls, would be meet people in public places. If they invite you over or they want to take you out for a drive or something, save it for the second date. What you can tell them is that we can maybe do that for the next date, but for now, let's meet at a cafe or a bar or a restaurant, have a meal together, and maybe that would allow you enough time to assess if the person is good enough to go out on a second date with, if the conversation is good enough or not, if they are nice, if they are safe people to be around, and then take a call on if you would like to meet them again or not. I have been in conversations where these guys have asked me out for a drive or something, I usually say no to them because I don't feel comfortable sitting in somebody else's car and giving them the control to take me anywhere. So please, please, please just meet them in public for the first date. And then if you like them, you can meet them again somewhere else for a drive or whatever you want to do. But make sure that you vet the people that you meet. A lot of my friends have just like maybe spoken to these girls or guys for a very short amount of time before wanting to meet them. And because of that, they have fallen into situations where they were catfished by people, or the person is a bit too not their type, or they're coming off a bit too strong onto them. There's a lot of things that happen when you don't vet the person. So maybe have a conversation for a good amount of time. Maybe share your Instagram with each other, check their Instagram. That will give you so much insight on this person, on what kind of a person they are, what kind of content do they really like to put out. Are they like egoistic? Are they self centered? Are they friendly? Do they have a lot of friends? Or are they family people? Do they spend a lot of time with their family? Instagram does help, but a lot of people also don't have Instagram. I think those are like the marginal people, smart people who don't have Instagram. But that also makes it a bit suspicious for me personally, because if you don't have social media in today's day and age, and if you don't have something to kind of justify your personality, then what do you have? But that's just me. But I'm telling you, like having some kind of social media would be very helpful for you to understand who this person is or how this person is. Lastly, would be talking to them, like really talking to them on a call, or talking or texting them for a longer time to understand what kind of a person they are. Phone calls for me are the best because it doesn't allow the person to think much before they talk. They have to talk faster. They have to think on the spot. So it's unlike text messaging where you have to think for like a minute or two and then you type a message. Conversations can be a lot smoother. It can be a lot better over phone calls, and you will definitely understand if you can connect to this person or not. So if you are not connecting with the person over a phone call, then how would you connect with that person face to face? How would you talk to this person face to face? For me, it is more like a filtration process where I understand that, is this person not worthy? I don't want to use the word worthy, that puts me on a pedestal, but is this person good enough to meet for me? Is this person a good enough match for me to meet and spend time with? Because you will plan a date, you will spend a chunk of your day trying to meet this person, trying to spend time with them. So why would you waste your time on a bad date, right? So you want to vet the person as much as possible before you meet them and try to see if you can find things about them that you like or dislike, and that will allow you to maybe think better about what you want to do with this person. In all fairness, I would say that dating is a fun experience. After all of that vetting and filtering of people, you will find a couple of nice people to talk to. And you never know, you might find somebody that is actually a good match for you. You might fall into a relationship, fall in love, but I wouldn't say that you should get into it with an agenda um, of being in a relationship. I wouldn't say that you should go in with an agenda of falling in love or getting into a relationship, because it's a very, very strange concept, meeting people online. So maybe for you, it should be more like meeting new people, increasing your chances of being around newer people, because as we age, our social circles get smaller and smaller. It's unlike university, college, or school where we were around a lot of people, so dating was a lot easier. But now when we go to work, we meet only a few people in a day, and we come back, we have our routines, and we spend most of our time alone or with our family or with our friends around our chosen people. So meeting new people becomes a little difficult, right? So, this is an opportunity to meet new people. And then through those new people, you might find a connection. But if you just go into the world, like for example, you go into a room full of strangers expecting to find your lover there tonight, it's not going to happen. You can't just go ahead and start a conversation about love with every person, can you? You would rather go and get to know people and see which one of them actually matches your personality or is compatible with you. And then later, after a few meetings or dates or whatever you would like to call it, then talk about love or then talk about relationships. You cannot just go into a place full of strangers expecting love, because that will never work out for you. It will just bring a lot of disappointment in your life and a lot of sadness and a lot of broken hope and trust. So just save yourself the pain and the trouble by not getting into these dating apps with an agenda to fall in love. Go in there with an agenda to meet new people and eventually, probably, supposedly, and hopefully find love. This was a fun episode, no? I just felt like I was talking to a friend about dating apps for the past 1 hour, and she was just quietly listening to me. It literally felt like that right now. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a topic that a lot of y'all asked me to talk about. So here it was. And I hope I did justice to it. I hope I was able to talk about dating apps in a very smart and systematic manner and talk about experiences that I have personally had and experiences that you should expect when you get yourself into this world. We are on Spotify and Apple Music, so please, please follow my podcast and support me. Make sure you follow Blahber Podcast on Instagram and YouTube to get all the latest updates and be part of open conversations with me. I'll see you next time.